Welcome to our Thursday morning Mind the Moment session, brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. This is a place where we invite experienced mindfulness instructors to speak with us about what mindfulness means to them and to process as a community how we can incorporate these practices into our daily lives. I'm Suzanne Rowe Palacino. And as always, Thursday's one of my favorite days, almost as favorite as Tuesday. Both days are favorite days, but Tara gets to be here today, and that's a wonderful thing. So good morning, Tara.
Good morning, Suzanne, and good morning, everyone. I love seeing the numbers tick up as people join. So great to have you all here this morning. I look forward to practicing and chatting and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope the sun is out where you are, or that your morning is starting off well.
I know we got a lot of sun back here.
Yes.
I hope it's not too much.
No, it's glorious.
Yeah, no, it feels great.
So Tara will start off with a question for us and then lead us in the guided practice along with sharing some thoughts. And after that, we'll have some time for questions and some chatting in the chat. So if you can go ahead to the bottom of the screen, open up the chat. And if you'd like, click the drop-down menu that says, gives you an
option.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and
did that too.
See the comments as they come in.
All
right. So where are we to start, Tara?
All right. So here's where we're going to start. Last week, I came across an article that the meditation teacher Pema Chodron wrote, and I know she wrote it several years ago, and she's a wonderful meditation teacher. Some of you may know her. Those of you who don't, she's wonderful. And she wrote this short piece called Why Meditate? And I actually want to share a few reflections. I'll be paraphrasing some of what she said, as I don't have the article right with me, but it just reminded me of the value of why do this thing that is not so easy to do. So my question this morning for everyone is, why do you meditate? Like, why do you meditate? And Suzanne, I'll start with you. And while people are kind of gathering their thoughts together, it's a simple question, but it does require just a little bit of reflection, like, why am I doing this? And I think the answer to that is really helpful. And there's probably a few different reasons. But when meditation gets boring, we can reconnect with our motivation, our intention, why we do this. So Suzanne, yes.
It's a hard question to answer quickly and succinctly. But I would say that I feel like I'm a better part of my family and community when I meditate.
Great.
And I'm able to give more of myself.
Yeah, it's interesting. And that really debunks the idea that this is selfish. Occasionally, you might hear that but ultimately, your capacity, Suzanne, to show up in a way with your family and friends and community that's more skillful, aligned with your values, more useful, like such good stuff. Yeah. There's so much coming in, but I'll just quickly say, my very early intentions was to kind of just better understand how my mind operated and to through that see that I didn't need to believe everything and to have more ease when I say I couldn't get something I wanted or I had something I wish I didn't, but to have more balance with the way things are, so stopping the fight with reality in a way. So that's a little more than, but yeah, so I love that.
I love that. Folks have said to center myself in this discombobulated world. There's really a bunch coming through.
Wow. Yes.
Some time for myself, grounds me, calms my anxiety.
I love all of the above. Yeah, those are great.
more aware of the patterns of my mind.
Yeah.
Make things better. Yeah, all the above.
Yeah.
Space of mind, calmness, stay present. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't agree more with all of those. Yeah.
Right.
And the fact, what you've mentioned, Tara, that to stop fighting against the things, I don't know, as one gets older, to stop fighting the ups and downs of life in general,
Yeah.
like why it's all part of the picture, and
Right.
it's all
Right.
there for a reason.
And reality will always win. Reality, the way things truly are, will always win. And so this actually, why don't I just say just a little bit about Pema's article, and it's easy to find too, but this idea of why meditate. And one of the things she talks about is that the mind is generally undisciplined, and that could be a word that makes us recoil a little bit. But I think what she's saying is our minds are unsettled. There are times when the mind will take us on a wild ride, and I know that everybody here understands that. We have stories about the past, about the future, and when we are in sitting meditation, mindfulness meditation, sitting mostly alone with ourselves, unless you're in a big room sitting with a lot of other people, it can be really unpleasant to be with the narratives in the mind. This is part of what makes it so hard. But what this practice does, it just trains us to open to the unsettledness, to actually lean into the unpleasantness, and also the joys of life. It's just that those are easier to be with. But then the benefit is that over time, we're more settled and relaxed with anything that's happening, including the wild ride in the mind, because we actually start to see the nature of that. And we know that everything has an impermanent, it's like a universal law that every thought, every emotion, and every body sensation will arise, do its thing, and move. And there is, this idea in practice is that we want to lean into the unpleasantness and the pleasantness, and the stillness and the lack of doing or distraction will bring thoughts and emotions, body pain. It'll highlight all of that. But there is also an interesting thing that I think we tend to do habitually, which is thinking, planning, analyzing. And there can be this subtle belief that that's going to provide some grounding or security, that, thinking, planning. And there is a part of us that might actually prefer the comfort of that mental activity because we're like doing something. But meditation teaches us to relate directly, free from like a conceptual overlay, to be open and compassionate to anything that's happening, the pleasant and the unpleasant, and to actually, over time, be able to sit with that emotional distress. And what it'll do is loosen the conditioning around it. So when it arises, we've just got more balance, we've got more equanimity. So, some of the things that commonly happen in meditation would be boredom. I've certainly experienced my share of that. Restlessness, also experienced my share of that. Restlessness is a really not easy. It is a challenging thing to be with. But when we come out of the stories in the head around it and just feel the direct experience in the body about what restlessness feels like, we're gaining some knowledge about its nature. And over time, when restlessness arises, we've just got more ease with it. And that's true with pain. When we sit, we can have pain in the knee or the back, or we can be sleepy. So basically what Pema Chodron offers is, she says, so there's kind of 5 things that can come about when we meditate. One is boredom. Well, I mentioned that already, sorry. The idea is that what we're doing is making a commitment to ourselves, and that this willingness to stay with what's difficult is actually a gesture of compassion and self-care. So I love how she talks about that. We're like taking care of ourselves. The other thing she says is just the ability to catch yourself. So spinning off, hardening to someone, closing yourself off, the ability to catch that. And this is like when we're off the cushion, off the meditation cushion. It develops courage because there is a willingness to be with what's difficult, to be with emotional and physical challenges, the capacity to improve attentional ability and focus, just more awake to our lives. And the last thing she says is something that I've already mentioned, which is just generally more ease. We just have more ease with anything that's happening. So with that, let's go ahead and move into about 10 minutes or so of practice. And sitting or standing, so your choice, they're both fine, but whatever feels like it's going to best serve you this morning. And eyes open or closed. So if you want to keep your eyes open, just gaze downward a little bit. And so go ahead and just assume the posture that feels best. Eyes open or closed. And as we begin, on your own, take 2 deep breaths and see if you can make the exhalation a bit longer than the inhalation. This is just a way to settle any surface tension from the morning. And we'll begin by letting go of all that has happened so far today and releasing anticipation of what's to come. And so bringing the mind and the body together in this moment. Aware of physical expressions in your body from the activity of your day. So it could be pulsing or vibration, perhaps temperature, points of contact with the body and the surface, whether it's the soles of the feet or the back of the body if you're sitting. Just even just responding to the question, how does my body feel this morning? What sensations am I aware of? Bringing that kind of receptive attitude in the mind. So receiving the experience the body is offering, whether it feels pleasant or unpleasant. Taking a moment now to open to sound that might be in the room or outside of the room. And bringing the attention back inward, allowing sound to remain as it will in the background. We'll move to an anchor for the wandering mind. So that could be breath sensation. So as you breathe in and out, is there a part of your body that feels that sensation most prominently? So breathing in and out and just noticing. Or perhaps you find something else that is an anchor that's better for you, and that could be points of contact with the body and the surface. You could simply take your hands and rest your palms on your thighs or even on a table, and that point of contact. Or if there's a consistent sound in the background. So each time the mind wanders, simply returning to your chosen anchor. Noticing where the mind is, releasing thought or memory or planning. Soften the body and just simply return to your anchor. There's nothing wrong with catching yourself in thought and returning. This is the practice. You are doing it correctly. And again, noticing where the mind is. And as we bring this meditation to a close, may we be peaceful and at ease. And may our heart be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our body healthy and strong. May the merit of our practice be for the benefit of all beings everywhere. And as you feel ready, if your eyes were closed, can allow your eyes to open. And maybe take a minute to stretch. So that was actually just a tad longer than I had anticipated, but would love to hear from folks. When I talked about some of the challenges of meditating and boredom being one of them, and I have to say that boredom and restlessness were probably the two that were challenging for me, and have been something that I've worked with. But another one I didn't mention, this one has not been challenging for me, but it is challenging in general for some folks, which is doubt, like just not really believing it's doing anything. So I just want to, add that in. So, sleepiness and doubt and restlessness, these are some of the things that make meditation challenging. But the benefits are that, and a lot of people talked about this too, is that ultimately you're bringing more ease to your lives. It's a byproduct of the practice. So we're not trying to be easeful when we're sitting in meditation. We're trying to see if we can be whatever's happening, whatever is, including restlessness and fear or uncertainty, as well as like all the joyful stuff too, because it's just easier to be with that. But you see that all the things that feel good and that are joyful, they also have an arising and a passing. These are just laws of the universe. So, anyway, I hope like some of Pema's words have been helpful for you this morning. But we have about 5 minutes to kind of chat, and yeah.
Yeah, folks mentioned they wish it was longer. They thought it was wonderful. Helpful to remember why we do this. I think that was a great way to begin.
And it's something to always go back to if you feel like you don't want to do it. Resistance to meditation is something I've experienced a lot, but it's really interesting to just like kind of push through that resistance and just get yourself to the chair or the cushion or whatever your choice is, and then see, oh, this is what resistance feels like.
Someone was mentioned. I like this comment. I'm challenged by getting the thought that I'm wasting my time by meditating. I know I'm not, but my planning busy mind, it goes there.
Yeah. And I think it's an interesting concept that the planning and the busy mind, I think there is some security when we're doing that, some feeling of groundedness, like I'm doing. But I always say, like, this is an empirical practice. So the more you practice, the more you want to see how it impacts your life off the cushion. Do you have a little bit more equanimity and balance with that family member that challenges you? How's it working? That's what you want to just ask yourself. And that's also what helps you keep doing this, really supports the practice and this will be available, by the way, on our YouTube station. So yes, I know.
Yeah, and if you Google Harvard Pilgrim Mind the Moment, that will bring you right there.
Yes, thanks, Suzanne. Yeah, but others, we still have a couple minutes. Anybody else want to offer anything that, anything that I might have said from Pema's piece about the benefits or the challenges? And Suzanne, you too, like, of course, anything, that.
One thing that I find difficult as well, and sometimes on retreats is, and for those of you that have either been or have considered or think it's something you couldn't do, you'd be surprised how that can work. But the challenging thought of not expecting something special to happen, or not
Yes.
wanting to have a goal for your
Yeah,
meditation.
that's great.
That can be kind of, you might go to a retreat thinking, oh, I'm going to spend 2.5 days in silence. What I want from that is, and it's easy
Yeah.
to throw that out there, but that's part of the just letting things be, letting whatever comes of it come to you.
Right, right. Yes, yes, yes. So you sort of, some of the teachers will say, certainly come with expectations, but hold them very loosely. That, you just kind of show up and see what happens. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So this, I read somewhere that people that meditate are selfish.
Oh, yeah,
We were
yeah.
just speaking about that this morning.
I know. And maybe Loretta joined late and missed that part where we were saying, because the idea is that we are actually employing the cultivation of, skillful and helpful qualities of kindness and compassion and understanding and perspective taking, the ability to align with your value system so that you bring that out into the world. You're more aware of intentions and motivations for everything you say and do, because you're actually learning and working with and trying to understand the power of the mind.
Yeah. No, I when I was mentioning about why I do meditation is I feel like I'm a better person I'm
Yeah.
a better part of my community.
Yeah.
But I am part of my community too. I think I'm
Yeah.
I'm better with myself as well.
Yeah.
So,
No,
by the way,
definitely.
folks, I know we've hit 9 o'clock. If folks need to jump off, don't worry about that. But
Yeah. But I would just add that, so what regularly bringing back your attention, because some folks are talking about, anchor and breath is one, but there are other options, and you just keep returning over and over. Basically, what you're saying is you're catching yourself in thought, which is natural. It's like the default mode of the mind. And when you're formally practicing meditation, you're essentially saying, oh, thinking, not now, and return to your anchor. By doing that over and over again, you're actually gaining some facility with your attention, and you're stabilizing, calibrating, steadying the mind. That is what really supports us in seeing more clearly when we go out into the world, what our intentions are, what our motivations are. That steadiness of mind is what you're cultivating, much like if you're exercising and lifting against the resistance of weight, or you're out running, you're employing that strength in the service of your day-to-day life. You're not exercising so you're strong just when you're exercising, right? It's like it's the same with meditation. We're learning to steady and calibrate. We're learning our own habits and patterns and of the nature of the mind. We then employ that in the service of our day-to-day life so that everyone benefits. I hope that was helpful. I wanted to just quickly get that in. I know we're at 9:02, but yes, thank you everybody for joining this morning. It's a pleasure to do
thank
this.
you so much, Tara, for being here as always. And thank you to the folks that have joined. And, I know we get new folks every week. So it's just, we welcome you and hope that you will continue to join us. And we will be back on Tuesday. So we look forward to seeing you next week. Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining again. I'll see you soon.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.